who you wound up supporting in the election, presidential election.
None of your business.
None of my business?
None of your business.
In a world ruled by political correctness and divisive narratives, some voices still stand up to challenge the norm. Among them is Denzel Washington, a Hollywood legend unafraid to share his thoughts on race, politics, and society's real challenges. Today, we delve into how Denzel Washington critiques woke culture with wisdom, clarity, and raw honesty. Let's examine his views and the powerful message behind them.
What do you think about that?
I don't have to think about it. I've lived it. I've been the guy at the Oscars without my name being called. I've been the guy at the Oscars when my name is called. I've been the guy at the Oscars when everybody thought they was gonna call my name and they didn't. So I've lived it.
So what would you say to the people who are looking at this process and saying it's unfair?
Yeah, and so what? You gonna give up? If you're looking for an excuse, you'll find one.
In race.
You can find it wherever you like. You can't live like that. You just do the best you can do.
Denzel begins by addressing the issue of discrimination at the Oscars. He makes his stance clear. Excuses are always available, but real progress requires hard work and dedication. Denzel's words directly counter the mindset of victimhood often promoted by woke culture. Rather than fixating on discrimination, he stresses the importance of accountability and perseverance. His message: despite existing injustices, success is built on persistence, not by blaming the system. This empowering approach shifts the focus from oppression to overcoming challenges through effort. Expanding on his view of responsibility and resilience, Denzel's insights on race and culture offer a deeper way to bridge divides without resorting to shallow solutions.
So why did he need a black director? Could a white director not have
It's not
produced this
color,
work?
it's culture.
Explain the difference, because I think we're
Steven
in a space
Spielberg
right
did Schindler's List.
now.
Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas, right? Steven Spielberg could direct Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese probably could have done a good job with Schindler's List, but there are cultural differences. You know, I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your hair on a Sunday morning, what it smells like. That's a cultural difference, not just a color difference.
The comparison between Spielberg directing Schindler's List and Scorsese directing Goodfellas is powerful. It highlights that storytelling isn't only about who directs, but about the lived experiences they bring to the narrative. This idea challenges woke culture's focus on identity markers like race. Denzel emphasizes that it's cultural insight, not merely racial identity, that brings authenticity to stories and fosters genuine connections. This cultural approach sets the stage for Denzel's critique of how both information and misinformation shape how we see the world. In a landscape saturated with opinions, he raises a key question: how can we truly find the truth?
So what is the long-term effect of too much information? The polarization of the electorate? A meaner spiritedness?
And false information as well, because the
all
whole fake
of it.
news
Pick
thing.
Pick one. It's not just one. That's the flavor of the day. Every day is something else. People have to understand, are you using your device or is your device using you? Can you put it down? Can you turn it off?
You're talking about literally the places people get their information from.
I don't care what information. Pick one. Phone, television. You know, it used to be news. Now it's opinion news. Oh, glasses. We have 3 experts on the right, 3 on the left. Let's discuss. Ooh, light bulbs. We have 3 experts on the right. That's not news. That's opinion news.
Well,
over and over and over. Cycle, 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 cycle. What is the long-term effect of too much information? If you're sitting there and you're thinking it's the gospel, what I'm saying to people is, to all of us, I'm not knocking the phone. What I'm saying is we have to understand, we have to at least ask ourselves, around the world, you here in England, wherever you are, what is it doing to us?
Denzel's message is unmistakable. We must become more discerning about the information we take in. This directly challenges the woke movement, which frequently capitalizes on viral outrage and hasty judgments instead of careful consideration. He encourages us to pause, engage in critical thinking, and resist being manipulated by the media's constant barrage of noise. In examining how information influences our views, Denzel underscores the necessity of accountability, both personally and in the leaders we elect to represent us.
You know, I think this is what I think. I think we as Americans better learn to unite. I think we as Americans need to put our elected officials' feet to the fire and demand that they work together, or they won't get back in office. You know, in this age we live in, this accelerated information age, we're getting further and further apart. We're not getting together. We're getting further and further and further apart. Everybody can't be right. But I think this is an opportunity, actually. You see how people are being energized and protesting and all that. But I think this is an opportunity for us to look at ourselves as a country and say, are we together, really? And are we holding our elected officials accountable to making sure that they're working together? Not just, hey, you're on your side, I win what I win, you win what you win. Because this is what is happening. This is what's happening. And God only knows where it's going.
Denzel encourages us to reject the divisive US versus them mindset often pushed by woke culture. He stresses that meaningful change doesn't come from being loud or polarizing. Instead, it arises from demanding accountability from our leaders and working collaboratively. In a society that often promotes division, Denzel champions the need for unity and responsibility. He sees this as a moment for introspection, asking us whether we are truly united or just pretending while causing discord. Denzel further emphasizes personal responsibility by reflecting on ourselves and our families. For genuine change to occur, it must start from within.
I think it's more important to make headway in our own house. By the time the system comes into play, the damage is done. They're not locking up 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know, I was in Chicago a couple of 3-4 weeks ago, and we saw these little kids on bikes with masks on the side of their head, like 5 or 6 of them. And the driver said, yeah, they're little yummies. I said, who? He said, little yummies. Look up, Google Lil Yummy. Lil Yummy was an 11-year-old murderer.
Wow.
And you look at his picture, you'll see the headshot of him, and he's like this. And he got murdered at 11 by a 14-year-old.
Wow.
Who's doing life now, and a 16-year-old.
That makes no sense.
You blame the system? Where was his father? It starts in the house. It starts in the home. And yeah, well, my father got locked up. Well, where was his father?
Yeah.
You know, like I did talk about my 3 closest friends, and they did, 15 to 25, one did 28, this and that. I was the only one of the 3 that had a father in my life, even though my parents were together, but I still had a father who was a gentle man and a good example, and they didn't. We can blame the system if we want, but they didn't lock any of us up at 7.
Yeah.
We were all doing enough to get locked up at 13. My parents sent me in another direction. They didn't have anybody to help them, and they kept doing what they was doing, and the system got them. So
Denzel highlights that responsibility rests not on external systems or forces, but on the foundations built at home. This serves as a sharp critique of contemporary culture, which frequently focuses on blaming outside systems. He shifts the focus back to families and communities, reminding us that meaningful change begins at home, well before external influences arise. This concept of unity and accountability is essential for our interactions with one another, particularly across racial and cultural divides. Denzel's next observation centers on the importance of creating genuine human connections.
You know, race relationships have to do with race relationships. You're white or whatever you are, I'm black or whatever I am. We're standing here talking now. That's how we get things done. You can't legislate love. The President of the United States can't legislate us into liking each other. We have to step forward and ask questions about each other and engage. There's no law that says, oh, because I'm president, you all got to get along now. So it's up to us.
Denzel highlights that true relationships between different races are formed through conversation, not through laws or policies. He points out that the government cannot force mutual understanding. It's up to individuals to engage and connect with one another. This critique directly targets woke culture's reliance on legislative measures and top-down solutions for racial challenges. Denzel's message is clear. Real change is achieved through open dialogue and personal interactions rather than through rules and regulations. He stresses the importance of personal responsibility in creating connections between communities. Drawing from his own life experiences, Denzel underscores that dedication and accountability are crucial for achieving success, values he embodies himself.
When I was 20, I worked for I grew up in Mount Vernon, New York. I worked for the sanitation department. I was a garbage man.
You were a garbage man?
I was a garbage man. I worked the back of the truck, 22 square blocks. That's hard.
doing movies. There's nothing that we do in the movies that's
what I
hard.
used to deliver for United Parcel Service on a truck.
Right.
That was hard.
Yeah.
This is a joke.
His message is unmistakable. The genuine effort that builds character emerges from the everyday challenges faced by regular individuals. In contrast, Hollywood appears insignificant. This observation pierces the allure of celebrity, reinforcing that authentic success is based on hard work rather than on fame or popularity. In a culture that often venerates celebrities as moral figures, Denzel keeps the dialogue grounded in reality, focusing on where true worth can be found. He ultimately ties the discussion together by pointing out the media's role in shaping perceptions, especially in a time when misinformation is widespread.
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
So what do you do?
That's the great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth, not just to be first, but to tell the truth. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it. Anything you practice, you'll get good at, including BS.
This is a powerful critique of the current media landscape, which frequently promotes narratives without adequate fact-checking. Woke culture too capitalizes on these swift reactions and viral moments. Denzel stresses that truth and integrity must always come before speed and spectacle. His message is clear: personal responsibility, critical thinking, and unity are vital for navigating the complexities of today's world. He urges us to look beyond the surface-level narratives of woke culture and take control of our own lives. Now, let's pose the real question. What are your thoughts? Do you align with Denzel's views on race, culture, and accountability, or do you see things differently? We'd love to hear your opinions in the comments. And if you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. More thought-provoking content is on the way, so stay tuned.